Datraya Dhimahi Tanno Bhumi Prachodayat. We meditate on she who is the mother, she who gives all, nourishes all. May we learn to live in abundance. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste. Namaste. Thank you so much for being here today. And I want to thank Pujya Swamiji Chidanand Saraswati and Sadhvi and Parmarth Niketan Ashram for hosting all of us for such an incredible week. Are you having a good time this week? Is it good medicine for your soul? Yeah. So I know that every time I come here, since the first moment I came many years ago, my soul felt at home. And there's just something about the power here of the Ganga and the Himalayas and thousands of years of spiritual practice and people coming together. And this is a perfect place for us today to really have a conversation of the heart together, to speak about something that is close to all of our hearts. It's entwined with every breath we take. It's entwined with the food that we eat, every step that we take, our future, our past, and our present. And I know that we are all feeling this very urgently in our being, in our nervous system. And we're living in this really incredible moment in our evolutionary journey. Our journey as a civilization, but even more importantly, our journey as an earth and as a humanity. Our topic today is to speak about yoga and to use that yoga to speak about climate change and to speak about earth activism. And so I'll just begin by saying that we're all already earth ambassadors. We are the children of the mother. We are born in this earth, and she is so intimately connected to our hearts. If we were in our hearts, we would never pollute the rivers. We would never poison the food that we eat, the air that we breathe, if we were in our right mind. And so you have to imagine that in one way, we are a little crazy down here on this planet to be doing the things that we're doing. But we're very blessed that we have these ancient traditions and wisdom held in these cultures that is relevant to everything right now, not only for our inner peace, but for the problems and challenges that we face. 97% of scientists the world over say that climate change is real. We're living in an acceleration of that moment. And what we want to do more than anything do today, because I know that you all are aware of many facets of this, but is really to understand the essential activism that we can all do every day with the choices that we make. From what is on our plates, to what we buy, what we wear, what we give our vote to, what we give our Facebook like to, right? And to the prayers that we share every day with life. When we connect our hearts to Mother Ganga, to the mountains, to the rivers wherever we live, to caring about each other. If somebody asked me what is a yogi, I would say someone who cares. We care not only about ourselves, but about each other and about this world that we live in. And there's a very long precedent in the yoga tradition of earth activism, going back to Prithvi Suktam, which means the hymn to Mother Earth, which is in the Vedas, to understanding the incarnation of Bhumi Mata as an incarnation of the Divine Mother, whose dharma is to provide and nourish for all beings. So I feel very grateful to be here and to listen today to some of our wisdom keepers who are all going to share a little bit about the wisdom they've learned and what we can all do in caring for Mother Earth, but also to understand the urgency. And I would say this, that this is the mother of all issues right now, because whatever else we may be arguing about on planet Earth, this is the time clock. And we don't know what's going to happen. And many of the projections about the future are very scary. But I think that's also, we're projecting our current madness into the future. The power of love projected, the power of these wisdom traditions informing our actions. This is how we can change the earth together. And there's nothing more central to yoga than how we act in the web of life, how we care about each other. So thank you for being here. And I want to introduce the beautiful beings who have dedicated their lives to not only yoga and their spiritual traditions, but to Mother Earth and to this sacred ecology. And I ask forgiveness in advance if I mispronounce anyone's name or leave something out. So I want to introduce, starting here, with Sheryl Angel, who is from the Si Changu Lakota of Turtle Island. If you don't know where Turtle Island is, it's America, but the original name is Turtle Island, and it's a place of indigenous people and indigenous wisdom. Thank you for being here. And Maria Guadalupe Retis Janis from Mexico. Abuela? Tonalmitl. Thank you, Abuela. And your singing was so beautiful the other day. Thank you so much. And I'll come back to Swamiji and Sadhvi in a moment. And then on the end, we have Amber Brovelli, who does beautiful work with elephants. Elephants Now and World Elephant Alliance and the Ganesha Project. And what you will hear today about the plight of elephants will, because you are yogis and yoginis, will touch your heart. And the elephants are in great plight right now. So it's very important that we work with them to save these beautiful wisdom keepers, the elephants. Next to Amber is Suaie Hate, from the Mizu people, Misca, thank you, Misca people in Colombia. And Ricardo Cervantes from the Toltec people, Teotihuacan in Mexico. Paramadvaiti Swami. And Sadhviji from Parmarth Niketan. And Pujya Swamiji Chidanand Saraswati. The word indigenous means in Dios, it means in God. We're all indigenous in our hearts. We all have a natural connection with Mother. And this is what this wisdom helps us to break through in our modern madness, is to come back again and to feel and to remember the earth. And she's asking all of us right now to serve her. So we call that Bhumi Seva. So I'd like to begin today to invite Sadhviji to share a little about the natural earth activism that we have in yoga and some things that we could all do naturally in our yoga practice to support the healing that Mother Earth needs.
Thank you so much, Saul, for the idea of this panel, for reminding us of the importance of bringing something that seems so obvious, that seems so deeply inherent to just the nature of who we are, into a discussion, and reminding us that that which seems so obvious to many of us may not actually be so obvious to all of us. Beginning with yoga, I mean, it's all yoga because it's all union, but beginning specifically with yoga, the sage Patanjali gave us 8 limbs of yoga. That's what Ashtanga means. Today, when we think about Ashtanga yoga, it tends to involve a specific practice of the body and the breath. But actually, the Ashtanga, the 8 limbs, refers to the 8 limbs given by the sage Patanjali, which begins with the yama and the niyama, the do's and don'ts of how we live, and actually moves up through the postures. So asana is limb number 3. I won't go into all of this today, or that would take all of our time. But it ultimately brings us all the way up into the 8th limb, which is samadhi, that ecstatic union that yoga refers to, that oneness of the self with the divine. But the reason that I begin with this, and where I want to circle back to, is the yam and the niyam. That's the foundation of yoga. Asana, as I said, is only limb number 3. Pranayama is limb number 4. And anybody who's ever tried to build a house or a building of any sort knows you can't start on the 3rd floor. You can't start on the 4th floor. You need a foundation. And the foundation of yoga is yam and niyam. And there's 10 of them. There's 5 of each. And again, I won't go into all of those details. But if we just look at the very beginning, the very foundation of it, we begin with ahimsa. The very first of the yam and the niyam, the very first yam is ahimsa, non-violence. Then satya, truthfulness. Asteya, non-stealing. Apigraha, non-hoarding. And even if we end right there, if we end with 4 or even 3, even if we stop with asteya, non-stealing, if we simply adopt 3 of the 10 of the yam and niyam and we did nothing else, the problems that face our world today would be solved. Whether you look at terrorism, whether you look at war, whether you look at crime, whether we look at any type of violence, whether we look at what's happening to our earth, environmental destruction, whether we look at climate change, whether we look at world hunger, whether we look at our dissipating water resources, whatever we can think of that is wrong in the world today, it would actually be fixed if we simply adopted nonviolence, truthfulness, and non-stealing. And so for me, yoga is the foundation of all of this. And for those of us who are yogis, who practice yoga, it's critical for us to realize, as we've been saying all week, it's not just what I do on the mat. It's not about the strength or the flexibility of my hamstrings or my thighs or my knees. It's not about my waistline. It's not about how much I sweat. It's about union. And so how can we in our lives live in a way that is nonviolent, that is truthful, that doesn't steal, that doesn't hoard? And this is where it gets really subtle and really interesting. Because, look, you've come to Rishikesh for yoga. You can learn yoga wherever you're from. There's almost no city in the world today where you can't learn yoga. But if you've come here, it's because you've been called by something much deeper than physical fitness. You've been called by something much deeper than advanced asanas. And so as we look at what that might be, it's actually the 24 hours of our lives. And it's actually how we eat, how we shop, how we dress, how we move through the world. And so, in the interest of time, I'm going to give just a few very specific ways in which how we live impacts the world, and ways that we all have control over, that we all have a choice over, because not every one of us gets to grow up and be president of the world. Not every one of us gets to become president of a nation or CEO of a multinational company or found a huge NGO like Greenpeace. Most of us also have other jobs or other responsibilities or families or so many different things that pull at our time, at our money, at our resources, at our energy. And the question then is, well, how can I live a yogic life? How can I be part of the solution in the minutes or the hours of the days that I have? And the good news is we can be. Because the problems that we face have not been created by one or two people wreaking havoc on the world. It's been created by a collective disconnection, a collective dissociation from the very air that we breathe, from the water that we drink, from the womb of the mother in which we are living. And so, quickly, what we eat. Well, according to the United Nations, by 2040, the world is going to have half the water it needs. India is on track to be there by 2030. That's like today. 10 years is nothing. That's basically today. And the rest of the world is basically tomorrow. Blink your eyes, it will be 2040. 50% of the water that we need. Well, where is our water going? A lot of it is going to produce hamburgers and hot dogs and chicken McNuggets. Here we live on the banks of Ganga, and there's so much work that we do to keep Ganga clean and protect Ganga. There's so many ways it's impacted. The industries, the tanneries, the waste, the sewage. But for most of us, the most impactful way to take care of the world's water is actually simply to become a vegetarian. The amount of water that goes in the production of one meal of beef, so you sit down for hamburgers with your family, the amount of water that goes into that is the amount of water that you use in bathing for 6 months. Raise your hand if you bathe every day. Raise your hand if you bathe most days. And raise your hand if you bathe out of an actual shower head rather than a bucket. In India, a lot of us bathe out of buckets, but raise your hand if you bathe actually from a shower head that pours down on you. Okay, so the amount of water that you use if you bathe every day from that shower head is the amount of water that goes in the production of 1 pound of beef. 1 pound of beef. And what that means is, if you're going to go out and eat hamburgers, are you prepared to refrain from bathing for 6 months? Because that is actually what would be required to offset the water. So I'm not here to say become a vegetarian because the cow is holy. I'm not here to say become a vegetarian because animals are our sisters and brothers. That's something either you feel it intuitively or you don't feel it. But I'm here to say become a vegetarian because the world needs its water. Become a vegetarian because you're not prepared to go 6 months without bathing. And that's what would be required. And for chicken, by the way, it's a third. So for chicken, you'd only have to refrain from bathing for 2 months. Every time you go out and eat chicken, are you prepared to not bathe for 2 months? In addition to that, the amount of grain, wheat, rice, soy, corn, that goes in the production of 1 pound of beef is 16 times that which goes into the production of a pound of bread. So if I produce 16 pounds of grain, I can make 16 pounds of bread, of rice, of pasta, or I can make 1 pound of beef. Is there anyone here who believes that you are entitled to eat the food of 15 other people? Does anyone's religion or spirituality or internal sense tell them that I deserve the food of 15 other people? Because if it doesn't, then we have to be vegetarian. And again, it's not about the cow being holy. It's about people being holy. It's about starving children in Africa, in India, all over the world being holy and deserving their food. And so if we cycle our grain in such a way that 16 people's food goes into the production of my hamburger, well, that's not yogic. That's not dharmic. And so I share this with you not to make you feel badly, but actually to make you feel empowered, because who doesn't want to feed the world? And we actually have the power to do it. We produce enough grain to feed 10 billion people a day. There's only 7-point-something billion on the planet. Not one person needs to die of starvation, but tens of thousands of children die every day of starvation. More than 1 billion people sleep hungry every night. And we, sitting right here, have the power to change that. Just in what we eat. You don't have to be president. You don't have to form an NGO. We just have to live consciously. I could do this all day. I'm very aware of our time. I just want to add one last point to this, which is, in addition to what we eat, what we wear and what we buy, every single thing we buy is produced in a factory. Every single factory produces waste. Some of it goes in the air, some of it goes in the soil. From the soil, it goes in our water. Now, that doesn't mean don't ever buy anything, but what it means is, as consumers, we have power. There is a power of picketing, there's a power of Facebook posts, but I will tell you that the power of the dollar, the rupee, the euro, the pound is much more powerful than any picket sign, than any Facebook post. And if we are simply voting and changing and living based on picket signs and Facebook, we're not being nearly as powerful as we can. When we use the power of our dollars, our rupees, our euros, our pounds, and we purchase clothing, items, whatever we need to buy from companies, and they exist in every single sphere. Whatever you need to buy, from sweaters to toothpaste and shampoo and everything in between. There are companies that are doing that organically. There are companies that are doing that with fair trade. There are companies that are doing that without their waste, polluting our air and our soil and our water. And then there are companies that are giving us more for cheaper. And as long as our only goal is more, cheaper, 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 we are literally putting our money and our votes and power in the pockets of the people who are destroying the earth. And so every time you shop, instead of trying to figure out how much you can get for as cheaply as possible, realize there is a price tag that has nothing to do with what is sitting on your bottle of shampoo, but a price tag that goes back to the Amazon rainforest, a price tag that goes back to the ozone layer, a price tag that goes back to the waters of Mother Ganga and the 500 million people living on her banks. And realize that price tag of what you buy. And these days with the internet, it's very easy. I know that PETA, People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, and now there's probably so many companies that put out literature on every item that we need to buy and which companies are doing it in a way that's environmentally friendly, in a way that's sustainable, in a way that doesn't use slave labor in sweatshops and child labor, in a way that's organic. Be conscious. This is the bottom line. We do It's not just in our practices on the mat or on the cushion. It's in our meals. It's in our shopping. It's in our dressing. It's in every choice that we make every minute of the day. And that is the power that we all have. Thank you.
There's a saying I heard once that there is enough for everyone's need and no one's greed. Gandhi, thank you. And this is really the law of Mother Earth. And that prayer I chanted in the beginning is that it's from the Vedas, just simply that we meditate on this moment, we meditate on Mother Earth. May we learn to live in abundance, which means sharing and caring. And I wanted to pick up on just a few little things before we move on, is that, you know, there's lots of facts and figures out there, and sometimes you see different ones. So let's say this is a guesstimate, but 51% of global warming, thereabouts, is attributed to animal agriculture. So the way that I approach things personally is never to try to force people into anything. But part of our job as yogis, and this is what Sadhvi is saying, is that if we're practicing yoga, the momentum of that is asking us to reflect on everything that we do. And that's not always easy because we have to be radically honest. So we have to support each other as a family in this process. And the water is very scary because water is the soma of this planet. It's how we're growing our food, but it's also how we're hydrating our bodies, and to be in a place where we will have half the water that we need as a planet by 2040, and India is ahead of that curve, 2030. But what could we all do right now from this moment forward with water? Anyone? There you go. Right. That might be a possibility that we could do. But what if we could actually just start using less water in our showers? What if we could maybe take that little bit shorter shower? Or, you know, there's many things that we could do even in how we have our home habits, things like that. You brought up the point about this consciousness that we're all, it's something we've all created, that we're all a part of, right? And therein lies the solution. That we're all a part of this global consciousness. The little things that we do that may seem just very small little acts of what's on our plate or what we're drinking. But if we're all doing that, if we're all working on it, then it becomes momentous. And one of the beautiful things that we're seeing, there's actually some prophecies that I've heard that are about this, is that the healing of the planet is really about all of us coming together. And that means different traditions, different wisdom traditions, actually coming in this time to come together as a people, to see beyond our differences. And so I would like to invite Paramadvaiti Swami to share a little bit, because in my view of what you're doing, you live primarily in South America, I believe, or spend a lot of time there. And you have created this beautiful doorway for the yogic and shamanic indigenous people to really come together and have a beautiful dialogue. Could you share a little bit about that and what is in your heart today?
Thank you very much. Honorable presence here, especially from the other countries who have come to the holy bank of the Ganges to bring about a higher state of consciousness. I first want to offer my respect to Sanatan Dharma. Just what Sadhviji and also what you said, I've seen that in practice, that many people, by coming in contact with Sanatan Dharma, they are ready to live without so many chairs, without so many beds, not logging the trees everywhere. They're ready to share. They eat from leaf plates, wear one fashion practically. I mean, I'm not saying you should all give up your fashion, but the simple life of what we learned in our yoga ashrams in India is simply don't consume unnecessarily. What to speak of becoming a vegetarian, that has become beyond conversation, that's logic. Why? Because we got a higher taste. India has the greatest culinary tradition in the world. It offers more varieties of taste. Any taste can be produced in such a delicious way. So in a way, Sanatan Dharma offers a lot. But what you are saying here is very important, that coming together with all the people from all over the world and get the main concern. And therefore, I've also discovered that the natives, the original nation people, their feeling and their behavior is so much close to Sanatan Dharma that we are practically celebrating Kiva Kumbh Mela here like a big family. There's no artificial thing. It is like, wow, good food, good dance, good prayer, and everything is so nice. And we want to develop that stage of consciousness that we will be attractive and helpful. Like, we don't want to go around just giving prohibitions to everybody in the world. We want to raise them to a higher taste, a higher understanding, which is of great need. It's not a luxury, like Sadhviji said. It is an absolute survival necessity. And since there are so many other concerns, the climate change is one. The mentality of land grabbing, of mining companies, puts the indigenous territories at threat, and so many other things we could add here to the list of things which have to be addressed and dealt with. So therefore, I was very touched when the United Nations of the Spirit appeared and Swamiji invited us to India. He says, come and bring these people here. I want to meet them. I want to see them. And then in Kiva Kumbh Mela, something so wonderful happened that we had a joint feeling we have to go ahead and do it. by all becoming ambassadors of earth, of the United Nations of the Spirit. We all have to become ambassadors. Many people are already ambassadors. Swamiji is an ambassador since he was born practically. And Sadhviji became it here, I guess. No? So the influence of this becoming an ambassador of the Mother Earth, of all the interests, whatever can be done, wherever you are, that is what we want to contagiously share with the yoga students around the world, with the environmental people. And there's one thing very important, and that is United Nations of the Spirit. The stress is on the word spirit. We need spiritual solutions. We do not need rational solutions. We are not against rational thinking. We should use it also. But the real input, the real change will only come about in a person when there's some spiritual feeling, some sharing, some loving towards the other living beings who are affected by our lifestyle. Then that is spiritual. And that is because we have a common father, a common mother. Mother Earth is our mother. We have a duty to each other. So one of the founders of the United Nations of the Spirit, when it was revealed, he said, we want a spiritual solution. And that spiritual solution cannot be sectarian. It cannot even be Hindu. It cannot be Lakota. It has to be something which the whole world can subscribe to and feels invited and want to participate, because that's who we are. We are one life, one world. We are one beautiful community, and we want to simply invite the world to participate. So therefore, this come together today, it is so meaningful to me, and as kind of the day, the adivas of the end of the yoga festival, that we are thinking, what does it mean we make this yoga when we go back into the world? What duty we have to Mother Ganga. Mother Ganga is giving, Mother Earth is giving, Swamiji is giving, everybody, so many people are giving. And what are we giving? What is our share in all this? And that for that we have a very beautiful write-up, which I will read later when time comes, but it is for all of us to join together and to make a commitment. Last time there was Kumbh Mela, we had Ganga rights is our rights, water rights is our rights. This is continuing. It is earth rights, is our need, is our right, is our survival need. And that's why we are so happy to see all of you. But we would really see the whole world sitting here and listen to this. And that is another thing which Dr. Vandana Shiva pointed out the other day when we were talking about the United Nations of the Spirit. She said, this is local and independent activism. Local and independent conscience, becoming conscious and aware, is not something it can be directed or it can be just under a new government or a new religion. No, it is something which we have to spread with conviction by our behavior and by feeling. Now, one special thing is here. The original nations have never been listened to in the world. They've always been disregarded or persecuted. Now they are coming forward and giving us an invitation to join together for Mother Earth. And that is with all their love and with all their compassion and with all their forgivingness, so that we can simply say, wow, it's time to get together. If they come to invite us, we have to join to that spirit. Not an organization, not an institution where everybody's afraid of. To join that spirit and put it into practice, because we have heard those lectures many times.
And never forgetting that we are all related. The younger brother, as it has been called, and perhaps younger sister we can say, has forgotten their connection to life. The elder brother and elder sister where these traditions have been held, this wisdom since the beginning, also has the solutions. And so I'm going to ask the elders that have made a long journey to be here, to share their hearts today with everyone. If we can all walk away with just one spark of inspiration. We don't have to solve it in one day, which is good because we can't. But just one thing that we could all take from here today as a spark of inspiration to live and to share this wisdom with others. So I'd like to I'd like to begin actually with the feminine wisdom here today with Sheryl Angel from the Lakota Nation. Would you please share with us?
My name is Sheryl Angel. I'm from the Sincharu Lakota Oyate in the United States. And what I've been taught is that we're all related. So I'm looking at my family, and you're looking at your sister, or your aunt, or your grandmother, however you see me. What I've also learned is that I'm part of the problem. Humanity on this earth is a very heavy load for the mother to carry. And with each decision that we make, each conscious choice that we make to forget the impact of our lives, our daily lives, starting with how long we shower, starting with how much we eat, has a very profound effect on the planet, and I feel it. That's why I know I have to be very conscious of what I eat, how I shower, what I wear. Even though I'm just one person, I want to be part of the solution. I want you to understand that you are the solution. Your daily activities have a profound effect on the planet. So I encourage you to look at yourself with love. Look at yourself in a forgiving manner and accept the truth of how you're living today. And be encouraged to not only love yourself, but forgive yourself and make a declaration to live in harmony with the earth. Because you are the solution, and I have faith in you. And I know that you will make a difference. So I want to thank you for understanding how you can be that difference. And I join you in living sustainably and protecting our water and living in harmony with the earth.
Thank you so much. And Abuela, can you share with us a little bit about the importance of protecting the earth in your tradition?
Buenas tardes, Ometeot. Nosotros, los seres de la tierra, sin distinción cual ninguna, somos sus hijos de ella brotamos, de ella nacimos, de ella somos parte y somos seres conscientes de que tan solo vivimos un momento sobre ella.
We, as living beings of this earth, we need to be consciousness of how we live and that we are the children of her, of Mother Earth, and that our consciousness needs to know this.
Por eso yo concibo la idea de que quien tiene la riqueza de tener un río aquí a las puertas de su casa es la persona más rica y poderosa de la tierra.
So I believe or think that who is that rich to have a river in front of their house is someone who is very fortunate, the most richest person in the world.
Y creo fervientemente de que las personas que viven aquí son muy conscientes, son muy responsables del gran tesoro que tienen.
And I believe that the people who live here are consciousness and aware of this big treasure that they have here.
Desafortunadamente, en los millones y millones de seres humanos que existen, pues a algunos nos hace falta el agua, a algunos nos hacen falta los alimentos, a unos muchos nos hace falta la conciencia, a unos muchos nos hace falta la responsabilidad de ese gran tesoro que existe cada vez menos.
Unfortunately, there are many millions of people who are not aware, are not consciousness of these treasures of the water, of the food, and don't see them as treasures.
La vida tal parece que es eterna, pero no es cierto.
Life seems eternally, but it isn't.
La vida es cada vez un poco más pequeña.
Life each time is becoming more smaller
Porque los seres humanos, al no tener la completa responsabilidad de lo que vive,
because we as human beings who aren't responsible anymore of how we're living,
somos pues las personas que cada día estamos en más probabilidad de terminar con nuestra vida nosotros mismos.
so we as humans are responsible for our own loss of being as humankind.
Las formas de vivir cada día son más precarias.
The forms of living are each day are more precautious,
Y es porque nosotros mismos no reparamos en las cosas que debemos hacer, trabajar, actuar.
and it's because we ourselves are not willing to repair or to work for it.
Yo esperaría que a partir del día de todos estos tiempos, de todos estos momentos que hemos vivido, al regresar a nuestras tierras, seamos seres distintos.
So I'm hoping or waiting that from now on, from our experience here, that when we go back, that we will be different people, different persons.
Yo me siento muy apenada, pero en casa ya casi no tenemos agua.
I feel very sad because at our home, we almost haven't got any water.
Ya materialmente tenemos que estar buscando cada día cómo conseguirla.
So on a material level, each day we have to go look for water
Para nuestras más apremiantes necesidades, que es tomarla.
It's for our main necessity of drinking water.
Yo que más quisiera que el agua se renovara en todos los puntos de la tierra.
I would like that the water could renew itself in each point of the earth.
Pero aunque eso sucediera, nosotros los seres humanos, yo no estoy muy confiada de que la cuidaríamos, la protegeríamos, no la ensuciaríamos.
But even if that would happen, I don't have a lot of trust that then we really would be taking care of it and keeping it clean.
El agua es la sangre de la tierra.
The water is the blood of the earth.
Y la tierra la necesita a ella para poder nutrirse y producir alimentos.
And the earth needs her to nourish and produce food.
Y ella nos ama mucho, somos sus hijos.
And she loves us a lot. We are her children.
Pero no creo que estemos conscientes de que si no la cuidamos a la madre tierra y a la madre agua, ella un día nos faltará completamente.
But I think we're not consciousness or aware that if we're not going to take care of her, that one day she won't or can't provide us.
Hace poco escuché que en la UNESCO dijeron que ya solo teníamos 2 años para detener el cambio climático.
I even heard from the UNESCO that there's like only 2 years left where we could really stop the climate change.
Y es imposible pensar en que tengamos las formas, la conciencia, la meta, la decisión de hacer verdaderos cambios en nuestras formas habituales de vivir.
And it seems almost impossible to think or to believe that we could have the decisions, that we could have the power to make these changes in our daily lives.
Es claro que lo que necesitamos son leyes.
It is very obvious or sure that what we need are rules, are laws.
Que no hagamos esto, que no hagamos aquello, que si lo hacemos se nos va a castigar, que se nos va a pedir una cuota para poder aplicarla a la renovación de este elemento divino.
Which says that what we can't do, or which will say what, how we will have to pay for it, or how we're going to be judged on it if we do something wrong of not taking care.
Y yo tan solo volteo mis ojos al cielo pidiendo consejo.
And with my eyes, I looked to the sky, to the heaven, and asked for counsel.
Para poder hacerle llegar el mensaje a mis hermanos.
To help make this message reach out to my brothers and sisters.
De comprender que la vida se nos va de entre las manos, como el agua.
That we can comprehend that life is slipping through our hands like the water does.
Tlahuizcalpantecuhtli, meteo.
Sunday, I could be here all day and next time, but in the interest of time and really to honor everyone that's here, I want to just have some of our other elders share. Ricardo, would you please share?
Yo vengo del centro de la tierra y del universo. I come from the central part of the world, in the middle of the universe and the central part of the heart of the earth. The name of that place is Teotihuacan, place where the energy gives life to the life. And there is the place where all the rivers get together, sending medicine to all over the world. And this is one of the places. I feel very proud to be here and to listen to all the beautiful projects. I'm with them. I'm going to support. I'm going to be now a vegan. I used to eat in McDonald's, but I'm going to promise that I won't eat any more McDonald's and meat, okay? I lost about 10 kilos, and I feel better, okay? So I want to tell this to my brothers and sisters. No more McDonald's, no more meat, okay? No more Coca-Cola. And that makes me to be sure that I want to help all of us to make the life continue. In our town, we use 3 words. I want to say it in Spanish. Unión, conformidad, y armonía. Between each other. Because I'm you and you are me. And we don't need to hurt each other because we need to create life through the life. So Teotihuacan is the place where we build the pyramid of the sun and the pyramid of the moon. Something that we have found there is that the moon is located at the same sea level of the sun. So that explains us that man and woman is important and we need each other. And that's what we are doing here. We bring all the spirit of the woman and we bring all the spirit of the man, and we are going to make the life to be life, okay? I tell the people in my town, don't complain. Let's make action. And I started to do that. You can see my Indian face. I don't make jokes because sometimes people laughing of the indigenous like this. I don't look like Tom Cruise, but I look like you with a beautiful heart and a beautiful spirit, okay? And a beautiful love of compassion. So I'm here with my brothers and sisters to tell you I'm going to be part of the seeds. They're going to help their life to go in the plow of the field. Believe me, I feel very proud to be here, to have a beautiful family here. And the only thing I want to share into you is that we are doing a beautiful history book, and we are to complete doing this for the next generation. One day I come next, I don't know when it's going to happen, but I hope it's going to come soon. I would like to see all of these chairs completely full of kids. Because when we go home, we need to deliver the sheets of the books to the next generation. That's important. I'm a professor in my town, and I invite the kids, I invite elders, and I invite these beautiful expositors, and they're going to listen. In that moment, if you listen, you teach, and you're going to go make the action. And that's what we are doing now with all of you, boys, girls, elders. And I want to take this message to my town, that this journey was very deep and it was very spiritual. And I know that the yoga is one of the principal connection with the beauty of the universe and with the beauty of the human body and the Mother Earth. And we're going to keep doing that. Promise, next time I'm going to become a yoga man. Okay? Honest. I think I need it. And now, the only thing I'm going to give it to you, because I don't speak a lot, I'm not a poeta, but I'm going to share into you my sound on my flute. Would you like to listen for 1 minute? Let me sit down, okay? Chicome, para todo el grupo. Okay. I want to say thank you to Chikome. We have a very beautiful, deep project, and we're going to see you here next time, okay? And I'm going to leave this flute to the altar of my brothers and sisters. I want the teaching in the school. Okay.
Thank you, brother.
To you, brothers. I promise. And this is I promise to leave the medicine flute. And I know that every little single sound is going to help us to understand that when we speak, is the truth. The dangerous word sound coming from here and from our sons. So when we talk to somebody, we have to be loyalty and respect and humble.
Hayaya.
In the Indian tradition, the word tantra means a weaving. It's one of the meanings. The weaving of everything together. And in that spirit, I would like to bring it back for a moment to Swamiji, Pujya Swamiji, to share a little bit.
Mangalam Bhagavan Vishnu Mangalam Garudadhvaja Mangalam Pundarikaksha Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunaktu सहवीर्यं तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय शांति शांति With respect to Sadhviji started with a beautiful message. All our indigenous leaders have given very thoughtful messages, but the need of the hour is now action. Lot has been said, is being said for so many conferences, in the parliaments, in the United Nations, but you are yogis. Yogis always believe in action. There is a way when our Soul David Raye started sharing his thought, there is always enough for everyone's need. There is never enough even for one person's greed. As Mahatma Gandhi so beautifully said it. We have to ask this question. That's why I chanted these mantras, just to pause, go within and ask ourselves. It's not the solution is somewhere there, solution is somebody else. To me, we are the solution. We all are the solution. We all have to work together. We all have to work together. And we have to ask ourselves, when journey starts from us, we have to ask ourselves, there is a way to live with a greedy way, there is a way, is a needy way. We have to ask ourselves, greed is the way or need is the way? I have to ask myself every day before I buy, before I use, do I need it? We have so many clothes in the cupboard. When we go to the shopping center, we see the sign, 50% off, sale. The moment we say sale, the shine comes in our eyes. Whether it's a Christmas sale, or Thanksgiving sale, or any sale. Sale word is amazing. Buy one, get one free, again, is a temptation. We are living in the world of temptations, in the world of attractions. Great, have them. But ask yourself before you buy, do I need it? You have to draw the line between the greed and the need. From today, we have to take a pledge. Not greed is the way, but green is the way. Green is the way. The moment you go to green, so many things will be cut automatically. Especially, this is very expensive. Being organic, buy organic, it's very expensive also. But today, there is a demand and supply. If you buy more, believe me, those farmers will grow more. Those farmer does not grow more because they know if this is going to be used within a week, it will perish. They will lose money. Today, we have to take message from our brother from Mexico, our gorilla. He is like a gorilla. He said, no McDonald's, that's it. Took a pledge. If the professor change, prophecies can change. All those prophecies can be changed if the professor change, if the teacher change, if the parents change. People don't need teaching too much today. They need touch. And that touch can be given from our own life like the professor did. More yoga, no McDonald's. I take a pledge. Everyone has to take a pledge slowly. I don't want to, you people are mostly vegetarian. But you can take a pledge. Each one should reach 10 to inspire them. Not because of some religious regions. Because of one reason, that we are one family. We have less resources. There was a time more water in the rivers, more land, more resources. Today, more people. Every day, the population is increasing. Where will go? The first yama, as Sadhvi said, ahimsa, believe me, nobody will be listening that time. If there are less resources, only will be hinsa. The violence will be there every street. There will be more water refugees than war refugees. In 2 wars, we have lost almost 90 million people. In first war, 30 million, next war, 60 million. We lost these many people. And now, if we don't take care of the water, we don't care of the air, we don't care of our soil, yoga does not only talk about soul. Time has come, yoga should talk about the soil also. The soul and soil should go together. If our soils are contaminated, you will need more yoga even to heal yourself. Now you do 1 hour yoga, you will need 4 hours yoga to heal yourself because of the soil is contaminated, our food is contaminated, and the food is contaminated, our mood also is contaminated, our body is contaminated. So we all have to work together, the yogis especially, because you touch people. You not mere teach people. Your life can touch people, inspire people. You can inspire people. You can transmit these values to their lives through your lives. The change will not happen somewhere there. Change will happen first in us. We have to change our lifestyle like a professor. He said, I do it, I take it, no more. Today, there is so much to say. I can go on and on because time is a constraint. I will ask you people to let us stand for action. We all take hand in hand, join hands together, India and indigenous leader, together. Welcome home. You people have took a great step to coming all the way. You know, there is a fear of unknown. Oh my God, going 20,000 miles away. Where to go? And they have found family here. And now they are planning for next Kumbh in 2021. 2021 they are coming again. We became a family. Let us pledge together as a family that we are one family. And as one family, we have to take care of this planet. I always remind there can be plan A and plan B. But there is no planet B. Only one planet we have. Only one planet. And the travelers of this planet, we are the travelers. This doesn't belong to us. We are all only travelers. We are the custodian. We are not the owner of this land. We are not the owner. Even the papers you have, just for momentarily. But we are the custodian, and let us be together as a custodian of this mother planet. Together, let us stand up. Let us have the spirit of United Nations of Spirit. United now, from United Nations of Spirit to United Creation of Spirit, we will are together.
We still have a couple of beautiful, beautiful speakers. So now that Pujya Swamiji has led us in the Be Yoga, Live Yoga pledge, just want to make sure that people sit back down again to give respect to our other remaining speakers.
Thank you. And I want to thank you all for your beautiful attention today. We are going to wrap up very shortly, but we want to honor all of our panelists today, our soul beings that have come to share. And I want to introduce next someone. And I want to say first, I've been around Ganesh for about 30 years or so, but I've learned more about real elephants in the last year from this lady. And she has some beautiful wisdom to share with us about these sacred beings that we live on this earth with. This is Miss Amber Brovelli. Please welcome her.
Thank you. I just want to add on, I know it's time for lunch, but we have to be hungry for change. So I think I honor you for staying and listening for the rest of the panel. And elephants are probably the most ancient wisdom keepers we have on this planet besides whales, and they have been here a lot longer than we have, and so we have so much to learn from them. So let us just gently close our eyes and drop into being an elephant so that we can return to our true nature. An elephant is known in many of the indigenous cultures in Africa and Asia as the 4 pillars of life. And visualize your right foot grounded, stable in the north. Your back foot like an elephant in the east. Your other limb in the south. And your front left leg in the west. They know Mama's rhythm. They feel it. They're connected. You are connected to all things. Be here. Feel the connection to your Shiva, your pure consciousness that is eternal light within you. This is the sun. As above, so below. This is the non-dual state of our wild nature. And we have forgotten it for so long. And the more we can listen to our wild places and nourish this balance that nature replenishes and regenerates naturally, keeping in balance in the cycle, in the rhythms. Feel the vibrations moving up from your feet. This is earth. You're home. You're grounded. You're totally supported. You're relaxed, yet aware, like an elephant. Imagine those big ears that you have. Every capillary on an elephant is expanded, feeling. They're the ultimate tantrika yogis of the world. They act in every awareness, connected. They are sentient, altruistic, and self-aware. Feel, what does Earth have to say? We have to be better listeners. Listeners to our true nature, that wild side that we've hidden so long and repressed. Even as Saul said, Matangi and Ganesha. Ganesha, in some sense, I work with wild elephants and captive elephants, and imagine Ganesha, you have this Godhead of elephant consciousness, pure light, yet it's humble in its human body and in its humanness of destruction and madness. We need to give it its life back, give it its Shakti. These are gods in shackles. So I ask you all to be aware when you're traveling of your ethical ecotourism, of your impact. And in that grounded, centered space of your elephant awareness, start taking a step into the trees. Up to 18 dung is left a day, 18 poos of an elephant on each elephant. This is almost 300 pounds of fresh fertilizer to regenerate our soils, replenish our earth. They are nature's wisdom keeper. They're the gatekeeper. They hold down the diversity. Pathway for the leopards, the tigers. Over 30 different insects alone feed on their dung. Even their babies eat this undigested dung to inoculate with the probiotics, this life-giving bacteria. We are bacterial cells. We are all spirit, and we are scientists. But this is our bridging the awareness of our hemispheres and being that tantric, weaving this wisdom so that we can unify. How do we walk like an elephant? Planting 200 trees a day. They may consume 500 pounds of leaves and foliage and forage a day, but 200 trees. This is breathing the oxygen. This is the air we breathe, restoring our waterways, creating the clouds that rain down on our heavenly mountains and flow into the Ganga, into all the rivers, this lifeblood that feeds our soul. How do you walk like an elephant? We don't want to be gods in shackles. We need to be empowered in our God self and our true wild nature, with that Shakti vibrating through us, connected to all things. And it might seem crazy in some regard to walk in your wild nature, but do it, because this is all we have, and we don't have long if we continue to consume at the rate that we have been. We need to preserve these wild spaces. And in these 4 pillars of your limbs as an elephant, planted in each direction, this is also the elements: the fire, the earth, the water, the air. And from this 4 stable pillars, we can radiate outwards our spaciousness. We all crave spaciousness. I think that's why we're all here, is to be unified space, to hold space for everyone and all of the diversity that does exist, so that we can coexist. How do you walk like an elephant? And you can open your eyes if you'd like, but I would like to remind us all as yogis. I know we attend the processions and the temples, and there are some elephants in shackles, and this is binding their true nature. They're not walking in this non-dual state of being. They've actually been pacified to be what we put on them as gods, but that's not a god. An elephant would be walking 50 to 120 miles a day, lubricating their joints with all of their bones stacked. That's how we want to sit in our house, in our asana, balanced, in rhythm, in tune with nature, so that we can respond to the world and not react. We hear of these temple elephants reacting and oftentimes losing their mahuts. And what's happened is their spirits come back and they've had enough. They don't want to be shackled anymore, and neither do we. And this is the collective consciousness that I invite you to honor these ancient wisdom keepers that resides within and all around and connected to all things. Thank you.
And so the Asian elephants are in great peril. We might be witnessing their extinction in this lifetime. And Amber works with an organization, World Elephant Alliance and Elephants Now, that really work with very practical solutions. So if you feel moved by that, please come and find her later. Thank you so much. And we'd like to have our grandfather elder from Colombia to share with us, please. Thank you.
Voy a traducir.
Usted. Vengo de un pueblo que tuvo un impacto fuerte en la conquista.
I live in a community that had a strong impact on the conquest.
Y la tradición antigua dice que somos huérfanos.
The ancient tradition says that we are orphans.
Al huérfano todo el mundo quiere ayudarlo.
An orphan, the whole world wants to help them.
Por eso nos llegaron muchas palabras para volver a nacer como pueblo.
That's why many words came to help us be reborn as a community.
Muchas tradiciones nos ayudaron.
Many traditions helped us.
América tiene historia sagrada.
America has a sacred history.
Si yoga es unión con Dios,
If yoga is union with God,
todos los pueblos del mundo tienen yoga.
all of the communities around the world have yoga.
Desde otras lógicas de la cultura.
From other cultural logics.
Todos los pueblos del norte, del centro y del sur tienen su yoga propio.
All of the communities from the north, the center, and the south have their own yoga.
Tienen una manera de unirse con lo divino.
They have a way to unite with divinity.
Eso vinimos a compartir a India,
That's what we came to share here in India,
nuestro yoga antiguo.
our ancient yoga.
Quiero referirme especialmente a un yoga
I especially refer to one kind of yoga,
el yoga de la palabra.
the yoga of words.
Los pueblos del sur, todos son pueblos de coca.
In the south, all of the communities are communities of coca.
El mensaje de la coca para la humanidad
The message of coca for humanity
es que hay que limpiar la palabra.
is that we need to clean our words.
Los seres humanos fuimos sembrados con dos palabras.
Human beings were planted with two words.
La palabra de tigre, la que ataca y hace daño al hermano.
The word of the tiger that attacks and causes damage.
Y la palabra de pájaro cenizo. Pájaro,
And the word of the bird,
que es la palabra que une, que trae unión a la comunidad.
which is the word that unites the community.
Cuando nosotros limpiamos la palabra, limpiamos la mente.
When we clean our words, we clean our minds.
Y cuando limpiamos la mente, podemos establecer relaciones con toda la creación.
And when we clean our minds, we can establish relationships with all of creation.
Todos los pueblos tienen una planta sagrada,
All of the communities have a sacred plant,
como en el norte de América el peyote,
like peyote in North America.
en el sur un bejuco sagrado, que es el yagé,
In the south, yahe.
y así muchas plantas que las han llamado enteógenas.
And many plants that are enteógenas, no ethno.
En quiere decir dentro,
En means inside.
teo Dios,
Theo, God.
gen principio,
Hen, jin, principle.
por analogía Dios en mí,
It means God in me.
Dios es en mí.
God is in me.
Y estas plantas vienen de la tierra,
And these plants come from the earth.
ellas recogen una memoria
They recover a memory.
y se unen con la memoria del ser humano que está dormida, guardada.
And they unite with the memory of the human being that's dormant.
Y así entendemos la palabra de la luz,
And that's how we can understand the words of light,
la palabra de Dios,
the words of God,
que nos las dejó en una criatura humilde,
that was left in a creature
que fue la coca.
that was coca, this creation.
Ese es el mensaje del sur de América, de los pueblos de tabaco y coca.
This is the message of South America, the communities of tobacco and coca.
Cuidar la palabra.
Care for words.
Por eso nosotros somos vegetarianos, tenemos un origen en un vegetal,
That's why we're vegetarians, because our origin is from a vegetable.
porque la hoja de coca es un vegetal.
Because the coca leaf is a vegetable.
Somos hijos de la coca.
We're children of coca.
Por eso, además de no comer animales,
So in addition to not eating animals,
no hay que hacer juicio al hermano. No hacer juicio al hermano.
we also can't mistreat our brothers.
Tratar bien la esposa
We have to treat our wives well
y establecer relaciones sagradas con todo el entorno.
and establish sacred relationships with our whole environment.
Y el segundo mensaje que traemos
The second message we bring
es que la tierra la cuidamos
is that we care for earth,
cuidando la mujer.
caring for women.
La mujer es una porción de tierra que nos entregaron.
Women are a piece of the earth that were given to us.
Así como tratemos la mujer, tratamos la tierra.
The same way we treat women, we're treating the earth.
Eso dice la hoja de jayo.
That's what the hayo leaf says.
Así como tratemos, repito, a la mujer, tratamos la tierra.
I repeat, the way we treat women is the way we're treating earth.
La mujer son flores que se le entregan al hombre.
Women are like flowers that have been given to men.
No es que las conquistamos picando el ojo,
It's not that we can conquer them by winking at them.
sino nos fue entregada.
Rather, it's something that was given to us.
Ese son los dos mensajes que traemos de los pueblos del sur.
These are the two messages that we bring from the communities of the South.
Limpiar la palabra
Clean our words
y limpiar la relación con lo femenino.
and clean our relationships with the feminine.
Y para limpiarla hay que hacer ofrenda a ella.
And to clean them, we have to make some offering to
Si
them.
reconocemos que ella nos da comida y alimento, todo lo que tenemos,
If we recognize that she gives us food, nourishment, and everything that we have,
debemos realizar acciones para devolver todo lo que tomamos.
then we should do something to give back everything that we're taking.
Por eso estamos en contra de todo lo que se saca violentamente de la tierra.
That's why we're against everything that's violently extracted from the earth.
Los hombres sacaron un pensamiento brillante.
Sobresacado.
Los hombres sacaron un pensamiento brillante dentro de la tierra.
Men have a bright, ay, brillante, pero qué, un pensamiento brillante de la tierra. Men have extracted the bright thought process from the earth,
Que es el oro,
which is gold,
y no pudieron dominar ese pensamiento.
and they were not able to dominate that thought process.
Y de ahí sale el capitalismo.
And that's where capitalism comes from.
Lo mismo cuando sacan el petróleo,
It's the same thing when they extract oil,
las piedras preciosas.
Precious gems.
No pueden manejar esos pensamientos.
They can't manage those thoughts.
Se invierten y se convierten en codicia,
They invest, and all of this turns into greed,
que es todo lo que venden aquí
which is everything that's being sold around
o
here
en todo el mundo.
and all around the world.
Pensamiento brillante.
This shiny thought process.
Y por último, queremos dejar el mensaje de que el yoga de América
We also want to say that the yoga of America
se hace a través del canto y la danza.
is done through singing and dancing.
Solamente cantando y danzando volvemos a establecer un acuerdo con el mundo natural.
Only by singing and dancing, we return to making an agreement with the natural world.
Porque todos los seres humanos fuimos sembrados con canto
Because all of the human beings were planted with song
y con una danza de la fertilidad.
and with a dance of fertility.
¡Jeje!
In our yoga practice, we open. We open our chests, we open our shoulders, we open our hips, we open all of the parts of our body to teach us to open our hearts. And today we have had so many beautiful, different paths in, ways in to be open to the earth, to be open to the future generations, to be open to our water, to be open to our elephants, to be open to the plants, to be open to our earth family. Before we conclude, we have just another few things. I would ask our Swami Adityananda Saraswati, the Director of Programs and Policy and Partnerships for our Global Interfaith WASH Alliance, to share with us for just a couple of minutes, as we're already over time, but you're here just to have a couple of minutes on the yoga of water. And we then will have a very special official signing and handing over of the Kiva Declaration. That's this, Pujya Swamiji spoke about the union of the indigenous traditions and India. And that's what this whole Kiva Kumbh Mela that has been brought from Prayagraj, the confluence of Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati, here to the International Yoga Festival, the confluence of people from all over the world, how we together, whether we call it Kiva, whether we call it Yagna, whether we call it oneness, whether we call it love, whether we call it prayer, whatever word we use for it, all of these words take us to that place of oneness, of love, and therefore of action that stems out of oneness and love. Not action we have to remind ourselves to do, not action we have to have sticky notes up on our fridge to remember to do, but action that is the most natural outcome of oneness and love. So we'll have that signing as well. And then I think to conclude, we also have a performance from our divine and beautiful Vishu Kumars, just a couple, 2-3 minute beautiful song and dance on protection of the earth and eliminating the trash in our minds, in our soil, and in our water. So first, our Swamini Adityanandaji.
Thank you so much. I won't take long, but I want to say this. How beautiful you are that you have stayed. I know it's lunchtime. And what a beautiful thing it says about your beautiful souls. Truly, you are divine. People could be doing anything right now. They could be running around gossiping, having some tea, talking on the phone, being on the computer. But you're here because you care about this beautiful world. And God loves you so much for that. We're at such a tipping point in this world where the decisions that we make as collective humanity can make it or break it. Truly. There's no other time in the history of this world where we could do so much greatness. And I'm telling you this, it's not too hard, and it's not the end. It is only the beginning, and the beginning begins with you. The beginning begins with you. And I'm not saying this just out of words. I'm saying this because it's easy to do. The fact of the matter is that the reason why our world is struggling, the reason why it's suffering, is because we've made some mistakes. And the great thing about making mistakes is we can undo that mistake, and it's so easy. I'm going to give you one easy thing to do. Can I share that with you? Is that okay? Is it okay? See these beautiful trees outside? These beautiful green trees. There's a secret that very few people know about, and I want to share this with you and spread it to the world if you could. Each tree, leafy tree, like an oak tree, imagine this, brings up water from underground. We know it purifies the air. We know it makes oxygen, but do we know it's a tremendous water pump? So from deep underground, through its mighty trunks into its beautiful leaves, water comes. And that is exhaled out by a tree or by any green plant into the sky, and that comes down as rain. That comes down as rain, and that's why if we have trees in this world, we have rain in this world. If we have green in this world, we have life in this world. And that's why, my friends, it is so easy to make that difference. It's not hard. One oak tree puts up 40,000 gallons of water into the air every year. 40,000 gallons of water from one tree every year goes into the air. And that's why take your hands and plant a tree with them, and you have planted a future. You have planted an answer. Take your hearts and share it with the world, and you have planted a future for this world. The hope is within you. God has given you something special in your hearts, or you wouldn't have been here today. And God, I'm telling you this, if you listen to these words and you remember these words, God will empower every step that you take to make this world beautiful again. All it takes is you, your belief, you're remembering this one thing. The power is you. And as long as you remember that, you will be the miracle. I bow to you.
Thank you so much for being here and staying, and also these extraordinary speakers we have. I request Swamiji to give the Kiva Kumbh Mela recognition to our Saul and also to our elephant protector, because she has not been in the Kiva. Please come. Chidanand, did you get one? Yes. Oh, you get.
For the sake of time, do you want to summarize this?
So thank you so much, Swamiji. I just want to read to you, after the Kiva Kumbh Mela, the elders met and they came up with some concluding statements to continue the original declarations. And today, because Swamiji actually was the inspiration of this Kiva here in India, so all the elders signed, and today we request Swamiji also to sign this, and we wanted this to be in front of you, because as we are subscribing to the United Nations of the Spirit, please listen to what the elders said. We consider this declaration to be a continuation of the 9 principles of life and the 7 agreements of the founders of the United Nations of the Spirit. This is the word of the elders gathered in the territory of Bharatavarsha, known as India, in the sacred site of Triveni, where the Ganges, Yamuna and Saraswati river come together during the Kiva Kumbh Mela 2019 ceremony as an offering to the United Nations of the Spirit. We are very pleased to see the spiritual and administrative leaders of India who have come together to join this gathering to pray for the rivers in the spirit of love, service, trust, and transparency. This territory reminds the world how to carry out activism based on the principles of ahimsa, satyagraha, non-violence, thus inspired by the spirit of conscious and ceremonial activism. We unite the hearts of the 9 corners of the planet to pray before the sacred fire for the healing of the waters and for all human beings to respect the rights of Mother Earth. We recognize that society has been losing values, principles, and spiritual integrity, and we stand together to identify the medicine for humanity's lack of consciousness, understanding that change comes from the inside out. Due to polluting ourselves, our environment is becoming polluted. We feel that it is possible to change the direction towards which the planet seems to be predestined by sowing the seed of awareness. Therefore, the different First Nations present here, in common agreement with the participants of this meeting, after 4 days of Kiva Kumbh Mela in India, present the following words. 1, we cannot We commit ourselves to contribute to the healing of the world by caring for our inner waters, reflecting them in the outer waters, harmonizing our relationship with Mother Nature and the Father Creator. 2, we support each community in implementing their own methodological vision in order to ensure an education for our children to retain wisdom while seeking clarity on how to face modernization. Number 3, we call upon everyone who identifies with this call to use their qualities and knowledge to sensitize and raise awareness in the world, carrying out spirituality and activism while aiming to avoid all forms of violence. Number 4, we want to create a network of servants, guardians of the United Nations of the Spirit, and volunteers or compensated employees made up of capable and enthusiastic people to help our inspiring leaders solve practical problems in different areas, supporting action in defense of the rights of Mother Earth and communities. 5, we call on all the world's leaders to provide safe and free water to all as the first and most important duty. This is the word of the elders and participants of these historic gatherings. We saw this seed of consciousness so that it may flourish in abundance. Everyone who accepts these principles are authorized to offer their service to the United Nations of the Spirit as ambassadors and guardians in their respective territories. From the International Kiva Kumbh Mela altar, the ancestral temple of the heart of Mother Earth, celebrated in Prayagraj, India, the undersigned of this declaration offer our support, united in one voice. We are the children of Mother Earth, the whole world as one family. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Jai. This is the product. So. We have a Spanish and an English version which is being signed here. So, you also sign? Or you already signed? Please.
Before our beautiful Vishakumars, one other really, really beautiful initiative that's taking place that is partnering with us here in the International Yoga Festival is an organization called Yogis Unite. And they are coming together to protect the water around the Arctic Circle in the Arctic Sea. Because as we know, the ice caps in the Arctic are where so much of the fresh water of the world is held. And yet, due to rampant development, due to rampant industrialization, due to not nearly enough laws and protection, the sea of the Arctic is quickly going from being a storehouse of life to no longer being a storehouse of life. And so the organization Yogis Unite is Marine Arctic Peace Sanctuary. And they are working to create a sanctuary in the Arctic Sea of no drilling, no development, nothing that can harm the pristine, life-giving nature of the Arctic Sea and the Arctic ice caps. And so they've asked us here at the Yoga Festival to let everyone know that for this, it's actually as easy as going online and signing a petition, because they're working with governments and the United Nations. And if there's enough support, that peace sanctuary in the Arctic Sea will be created. So their website is Yogis Unite Maps, M-A-P-S, like a map, to take you to the destination of environmental protection and clean water. So it's yogisunitemaps.org. It's also listed on our International Yoga Festival website if you forget. But it's one of the places where the power of just an online signature actually does have a great ripple impact. So if we can protect the Arctic Sea, protect the Arctic ice caps, we will have done a lot to protect the pure and fresh water that still exists on Earth for today and tomorrow. Lastly, let's have a very big round of applause for our Saul David Raye, who has moderated this panel so beautifully. I heard him renamed Soul David Raye a little while ago. So it's been such a great honor to have you bring this panel together and moderate it. So thank you so much for really standing as one of the very strong and very rare models in the Western popular yoga community of not just physical fitness, but actually yoga for life, yoga for peace, yoga for the earth. So thank you so much for all that you do and all you stand for. And now our beautiful Rishi Kumars.
And I want to thank all of you for staying and being such a beautiful part of this. And let us all just remember that we are ambassadors for the earth, and whatever medicine you took from today or little awareness, just to let that spark your heart into seva for Mother Bhumi. Thank you so much.
There's a war against plastic, the use of plastic. Parmarth Gurukul Rishi Kumars are going to present Tick Tick. We are introducing also the grandchildren of Parmarth Parivar, Parmarth Ashram, Tejas and Vaishnavi.
Bhaiya, that's not right. But this is the reality. There must be some way to change it. Of course, sister. We must stop using plastic. We must stop using plastic. We must stop others from throwing plastic in the rivers and oceans. Tick, 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 tick. What's that? टिकने नहीं देंगे. टिकने क्या? प्लास्टिक को टिकने नहीं देंगे. टिक 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 टिक.
टिक 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 कसम ये खाए रे. टिक 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 प्लास्टिक टिक ना पाए रे. टिक 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 कसम ये खाए रे. टिक 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 प्लास्टिक टिक ना पाए रे. अगर सुन लो जो संभले ना हम तो बम ये फट जाएगा. कि बहती सी नदियां का ये पानी रुक जाएगा.
अगर सुन लो जो संभले ना हम तो बम ये फट जाएगा. कि बहती सी नदियां का ये पानी रुक जाएगा.
कि कर दो रहम धरती का ये दम भी घुट जाएगा. कि कुदरत की नस नस में जहर ये बस जाएगा. प्लास्टिक के हम सब मोहताज हैं. कैसा ये समाज है.
कल ना हो हाथों में आज है.
मौका ये अपना गवाए रे. टिक 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 कसम ये खाए रे. टिक 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 टिक
प्लास्टिक टिक ना पाए रे.
टिक 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 कसम ये खाए रे. टिक 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 प्लास्टिक टिक ना पाए रे. सिचुएशन ड्रास्टिक है जहाँ देखो प्लास्टिक है. सिचुएशन ड्रास्टिक है जहाँ देखो वही थैली बोतल स्ट्रॉ इत्यादि सर्रे सर्रे में फैला दी. ना घट पाए ना मिट पाए रह रह के टॉक्सिक बन जाए. इससे छुटकारा तो नहीं पर है एक सरल उपाय रे. सिंगल यूज प्लास्टिक को हम कह दे बाय बाय रे. टिक 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 टिक
कसम ये खाए रे.
टिक 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 प्लास्टिक टिक ना पाएंगे. हम जो मिलकर ठान ले अगर वक्त ये बदल जाएगा.
कि इस धरती के कांधे से ये बोझा हट जाएगा.
Refuse to use, reuse, recycle. ये नए रिवाज है. प्लास्टिक वाले स्माइल सारे पूछ के आओ खुल के मुस्कुराए रे. टिक 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 कसम ये खाए रे. टिक 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 प्लास्टिक टिक ना पाए रे. टिक 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 टिक
कसम ये खाए रे.
टिक 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 प्लास्टिक टिक ना पाए रे. टिक 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 कसम ये खाए रे. टिक 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 प्लास्टिक टिक ना पाए रे.
Let's give all of our Rishikumars a very, very big round of applause. I'm going to call them back onto the stage. Sare bache वापस आ जाओ. अगर मेरी आवाज़ सुन रहे हैं तो वापस आ जाओ सारे बच्चे मंच पे. Wonderful. Let's give them another very, very, very big round of applause. And our respected Sadhvi Abba Saraswatiji, the head of Parmarth's yoga and meditation section, and also the inspiration behind all of the dance and dramas by the Rishikumars through her inspiring and teaching our beautiful Upasanaji and Induji. Should by any chance they happen to be there, they should also come out on the stage. Wonderful, wonderful. Very, very big round of applause for Upasanaji also, the choreographer of all of these great dances by our Rishikumars.
And I think it would mean a lot to the Rishikumars if Pujya Swamiji, Sadhviji, our dignitaries on the dais could join them on the stage and bless them on the stage. So our speakers from the panel just now, if I can request you back on the stage, that would be wonderful. I think our young children derive a lot of inspiration from all of you. और बच्चे हमारे आगे आ जाए, आगे आके नीचे बैठ जाए, पलटी मार के आगे आके नीचे बैठ जाए, है ना? And if we have presenters here in the audience, we would request you to please join them on stage as well. Elders as well, if you would like to join on stage. Swami Paramadvaiti Ji Maharaj. Jai Hari Ji. Our elders, abuelas and abuelos, and everybody is welcome. To the front also, sevaks, you can maybe stand in the front. All the sevaks for the International Yoga Festival and rest of the Rishikumars, you can stand in the front as well. No, front, in the front. And everybody is welcome to join. A lot of the pictures that we take become the inspiration that goes all through the world. So we thank you for joining us to be that inspiration.